I'm Lanette Creamer, and welcome to Human-Focused Program Management. I'm a technical program manager career-wise, but I have two cats. You might see behind me on the wall, that's my cat Navani. The Steel Point Siamese is Adolin, and I love to do baking. There's three things I want to talk about. First thing, what is program management? And how did I get into it? And why did I switch? Thing two, an overview of the styles of program management, including what it means to be a human-focused program manager. Then thing three, some collaboration tactics. These will apply no matter your line of work, and I'll go over some tactics when things are going well and some that may be when things are not going so well. So first thing, what is program management? Project Management Institute, they are a certification organization that provides training. They provide a body of knowledge for project managers and program managers, but their background is mostly project management. And they say program management is about applying the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to meet program requirements. I see things a little bit differently. I think that it's you're responsible to coordinate and deliver improvements to ongoing projects or initiatives or a portfolio, which is a set of projects or programs that are rolled into one. And success is judged by return on investment or the percentage improvement made. And that is different than a project manager success criteria, which is on time, on budget, with quality, or a product manager, which is delivering the right requirements, the right product to meet the user goals. And what is technical versus non-technical? Well, a non-technical program manager is going to have their engineering team make the technical decisions, and they're going to just manage the program. A technical program manager is going to remove technical obstacles. They're going to need to be in the code at times. They may not be writing a lot of code, but they need to be able to read and understand it, and they need to be clear about the technical architecture to help in some of those ways with the engineering team. In 2017, I got to a point where I felt if I learn more, no one's going to pay me more, no matter what I learn within testing. So I just felt I had no room to grow, and I wanted to go in a more technical direction that would allow me to take what I learned in testing and expand beyond that point. And at the time, I was fortunate enough, I worked for the Omni Group, and they supported me in getting my certificate in JavaScript development. And getting more into the development side allowed me to move to technical program management in 2019. You really can't do the job well without some programming skills. Although you can be a good program manager, you can't be a technical program manager without coding. So next up, styles. What are the program management styles? Style is subjective. This guy here in the balloon pants, that's a choice. And it's a funny choice, but I want to talk about things people focus on. If you read job descriptions on program management, it'll say, we want someone data-driven. So that means somebody who uses data to back up their decisions, they're meeting their goals for the metrics or exceeding them. There's some people that ignore the things that are going well, and they're really managing the exceptions, risks, and dependency chains to manage their program. Some people from a project management background, they are going to really focus on delivering on time, on budget, and they may think, oh, if each project is managed well, then the program will be managed well. Some people from a product background may be like, if we have the right requirements, we deliver a killer product that customers are happy with, that is success for my program. There's some people who believe that if they make and follow a good plan, so they have a good roadmap, a budget, a schedule, good governance plans, and they follow the PMI process, that their program is going to be successful. And then there's human focused, and that concept is if you focus on coordinating the people, the outcome of your program is going to be good. And I landed on the human focused style partly because this quote has been true in my experience in the past 5 years, but I made this Venn diagram to show how I see the different styles interacting. Someone from a project background, they're going to see things as tasks or jobs to be done, and then deliverables that will go to their outcome. Someone from a product perspective may be breaking things down into requirements. They may track requirements. Someone from a planning background may say, well, we have a roadmap, and under that are the tasks and requirements, and they're going to lead us to a good outcome. But I see human-focused program management as an all-encompassing umbrella that we can learn something from all of those disciplines. There's always going to be requirements, there's going to be tasks, there's going to be deliverables, there's going to be an outcome. Planning is necessary, but ultimately these are all going to be done by people, and if we focus on having the right people, empowering them to do inspired work with autonomy, and we build good collaboration and trust processes for these people, we're going to be successful in the program. Before you manage any program, I feel you have to be clear on answering the primary question for human-focused program management, which is understanding who are we delivering for and how will we know we've successfully delivered it to their satisfaction. So if our goals, if our metrics, if our KPIs are not matching up with this goal, there's nothing we can do to manage the program to success. So we need to keep coming back to this question and making sure this is aligned so that we'll be successful in delivering our program. And then I wanted to talk about, so far, what have I learned? By far, collaboration skills have more impact on the outcome, much more than planning, much more than the tooling used, much more than the technology used. I feel people will remember how you made them feel. Did they feel included? Did they feel respected? Did they feel appreciated? Much more than what was actually done. And I started as a technical program manager in 2019. I could watch people's body language. I could see if people were stressed. I could hear the tone of voice. And then suddenly COVID came along, and text communication skews towards very blunt, somewhat rude by default. So if you want any empathy or human warmth, that has to be intentionally added in most cases. So as far as how to collaborate, I'd say the first step is to prepare, and that means having intention with who you're going to collaborate with. So think about clearly, who's the right person, why is it important, who is it important to? The second thing is, before you go to collaborate at all, you want to understand what happens if they tell you no. If we say no to the non-critical things, then we can say yes to the most important things. And that's true for all of us. So what happens next? So know that before you ask anything. And then remember the answers to the primary question. In your collaboration, specifically if you're reaching out in a text format, have you made the answers to the primary question clear? Then some principles I like to follow while collaborating. Asking questions over making assumptions. Yes, being curious. And not just asking questions, but stating your assumptions. One example might be, Lee, I heard that you're working for Nisha on our export API, and that you're responsible for that area. Is that true? And asking the question, do you have the right person? Stating why you're reaching out to them and what your assumptions are. And Lee could come back and say, I don't work for Nisha anymore. I moved to another team 6 months ago. Cheryl's handling that now. Please go speak to her. Or you could be like, yeah, that's correct. How can I help you? So ask questions, state the assumptions. Then being effective over being right. So it doesn't win you a lot of friends to be correct. So focus on finding a solution and being effective. It's nice to be right, but being successful in your program is more important than being right. And then empathy over persuasion. Let people know that you value them as a person, you value their time, not just what they can do for you. And people can feel that intention, they can feel that difference, and it matters. Sometimes you're going to run into conflict, and I have been told, well, why don't you just escalate? You know, if somebody higher in the company wants this done and someone says no, why don't you just send this to your boss? And I feel like that is a possibility. That's one way to handle conflict, but it's my least favorite technique to use, and I would only use it if everything else was exhausted and I didn't have another option. because I feel like forcing people to do things and threatening people are going to lead to uninspired and low quality work in general, and at best, it's a temporary solution. And it undermines your relationship. It's much better if you're able to collaborate without using hierarchical power enforcement. Then there's going to be some outliers who may say yes but not deliver. They may tell you things that aren't true. They might even undermine you in back channels. But never, you should never do that, because there are no back channels. Assume that everything you ever say or type will come to light, because it's very possible. I would say if you are having a problem with a specific person and trying to empathize with them, ask questions, and work around it has not worked, see if you can speak to someone else. See if there's some other way to work around them to build momentum. And sometimes you can get to good enough without them. Sometimes you can just also figure out how to do something and do it without involving them. I've done that quite a few times, and it's much more successful, because you don't want to spend a huge amount of time on a tiny percentage of interactions, and you definitely don't want to spend most of your time working where it's the most difficult. And then I would say seeking understanding is critical. If people are behaving in a way that doesn't make sense, there may not be a reason you can see, but there is a reason. Either there's something in the system, there's some person, there's some context that is causing this behavior. So see it as another fact, another thing to understand in the system. So to recap, human-focused program management, it's about relationships. It's about building trust with people over time and focusing on the people more than just, it's coordinating the people. Human-focused program management is about coordinating the people and building relationships so that they can deliver successfully on the program goals. Tactics to use: ask questions, be curious, and state assumptions if you're making them. You want to be effective and get the work done over being correct or arguing with anyone. And then use empathy over persuasion, and certainly over the hierarchy, to get your work done. And then lastly, some people will be unreliable and they may fail you. Attempt to understand the reason and the context behind it as one other fact in your understanding of the whole system. Thank you for listening to my talk, and have a wonderful rest of your TestFlix.